It's Friday, and we're hanging out. We're doing all the things, and we're talking about My Metal Girl. We're hanging out with Nate. We're hanging out with Bluden Hunter. Hunter. And, we're talking about There Be Shadows, and we're going to go live with There Be Shadows here in just a little bit. But I'm going to give it Russ a few more minutes to tweak some stuff on that before we go live to make sure everything is just right. But how are you guys? How was your week, Mr. Nate?
It was too damn long. Well, I mean, I couldn't be here last week because I was working till like 10 o'clock on last Friday. And then this week's been brutal as well. But luckily, I'm not working late tonight or this weekend because I worked last weekend.
Oof. That's long hours, man.
Yeah, it kicked my butt.
Oh, man. Mr. Hunter, what are you working on tonight?
I don't know. What should I do? I have a blank canvas here. Maybe I should do one of the little ones. This is dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. Mr. Nate, what would you like to see?
I would like to see Agent C, and then
you don't want to see anything from There Be Shadows. You want to see some If It Hops.
Well, if it's There Be Shadows, I'll probably buy it if he draws it. So.
Well, actually, there you go. There's some incentive, Mr. Hunter.
Well,
to go. You could do a Tinkerbell, you could do a Pan, you could do all kinds of stuff.
Actually, do Davy.
Davy would be dope.
Do Davy with Pan on it.
I was grabbing the little sheets. Yeah, who with the who?
He said do a Davy with a Pan behind him.
Yep.
Davy with a Pan.
Right on. You know what's interesting? I'll tell you something really cool that a lot of people may not know is every character from Ethereal goes from my mind to Bladen Hunter before it goes anywhere else. Like it doesn't go to any other artist or anything. It goes to him first.
Do I have to log out and log back into a different name? Because this is getting silly.
All right. Well, I won't call you Hunter any longer.
You may. I'm just running upon myself, I guess.
Well, I mean, you did it, man. You did it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about There Be Shadows. I know There Be Shadows is the book that Nate's been waiting for. That is the one that he's been really, really excited about. We're all excited about it. We've been, what a lot of people don't realize is those scripts and stuff are normally done like 6 months in advance.
Dude,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that book's been sitting and hanging out, ready to go for a hot minute now.
It's been percolating.
It's been percolating.
Uh-huh.
It's been, what do you call it when you're peppering or you're putting pickles in a jar, you're pickling.
Well, I mean, when you go and get the Chipotle and then you let it simmer for a bit, I call it commingulating. It commingulates. Oh. Ooh, yeah.
See, you guys are learning something on Friday nights. That's what we do around here.
The who delivers the goods.
That's right. We impart a little bit of knowledge as well as we.
If you remember a heck of it way back when we first started, getting together, that was one of the first books we talked about.
Yeah.
Like 8 or 9 months ago, we had
talked when you were on board. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think how fast time has went this year already. And we're finally, I've already read the story multiple times, now we're seeing the artwork. See, from idea to book to actually seeing visuals, that's pretty fast, compared to some places. So
it's definitely.
Oh hell, you even got colored pages.
I got pages.
No,
it's looking good. Yeah. No, I'm thrilled with it. It's one of those things where it's like Donnie's killing the lines. Dan's an amazing colorist. So when you put combinations of people together that are so talented, it's the pages come to life. You know what I mean? It's cool to write the script and create the characters and stuff, but it's a whole nother animal when you start seeing them actually come to life on the page. What people's interpretations of a character are and what they're actually looking like and what they've got going on. It's really, really interesting. Like I have an avid fascination with the characters we put out. I get excited, you know, because I'm like, man, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be really, really cool. But, you know, other people, you're like, hey, you know, you're trying to tell them and describe to them what's going on. But unless they're actually reading what you've written or they're seeing the actual pages, it's hard to get people to feel that coming to life situation. I'm sure we'll get Nate back here in a second. But it's really wild. Like when you start getting into covers, like you start getting a vibe off a cover, you get a vibe off a book, what it's going to feel like, what it's, you know, what kind of storytelling you're going to get, what kind of the interiors may look like. I'm always a fan of being real honest about our artwork. If the interior looks really, really good, or the exterior looks really, really good, the interior should look equivalent. You know, it should look just as good. There should never be a situation where the art on the exterior far exceeds the art on the interior, because it's almost like false advertising. You know, you're getting people to come and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. But it may not be. We knew you were coming back, Nate.
It kicked me out, and I was like, what the hell?
Oh no. But I was just talking about covers and interior expectation. You know, the one problem I have with comic books and the indie industry right now is if you go to put a book out and you're showing people the exteriors, you know, the covers and whatnot, the interiors should look just as good.
Mm-hmm.
It should not be one of those cases where it shouldn't be one of those cases where you're going, this is the interior, but the exterior is this. You know what I mean? It should always be equivalent. It's almost like equivalent exchange. If I show you something from an exterior perspective, you know, the interior should look just as good. You know what I mean? There should never be a doubt.
Well, I agree, because I mean, the big thing for me is you can have the best cover artist in the world,
right?
But if the interior is shit,
you're
not going to come back and buy it again. I mean,
absolutely not.
I bought books like that where I bought for a cover to support them, you know, support an artist or somebody. But then when I started reading the inside, you know, the artwork was horrible on the inside. And it wasn't against the artist. It seemed like it was just rushed. Like you can tell when some pages are rushed because they're not fully decked out like they should be done. And it made for a bad story. So you'd end up not buying it again as a fan.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, and that's a shame, right? It's a real shame. It's like expectations. When I see something, I'm like, oh man, we've got this beautiful cover team, right? We've got this beautiful cover team or interior team, but you have to match that. Like I will literally go out of my way to find a team that can hang with the other set. You know what I mean? Like when you start talking about amazing line work, you have to talk about amazing cover work, you know, and as much as a lot of the industry is cover, we still want to push beautiful storytelling. We want to push beautiful artwork, you know. So if you ever look at a cover and you go, oh man, that artist is really expensive or this or that, I want you to realize that same amount equivalently went into the interiors. You know what I mean? Like we're always trying to make sure that we're putting out beautiful work, you know, and on every different aspect of it, you know.
Well, it's like,
wait, did you guys start talking about interiors for There Be Shadows Without Me?
Yes, we didn't know when you were coming out. Welcome back. Please feel free to talk. Art director Bladen Hunter.
Oh man, I'm just getting you some food here.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's sort of like when you guys brought in Alberti. Alberti is mostly a cover artist, but now he did the full interiors, you know, for that.
Alberti is new to interiors, and he did an amazing job. He's going to keep learning, keep getting better, and we're really, really happy. All his cover stuff is really like pinup. He's from the Ed Bennett studio. So kind of that flavor, you know. But yeah,
And I love his work. I mean, I bought stuff from him when he was still working there, and he's like, "Hey Nate, what do you think about this? Would you want this? Do you think this would appeal to people?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "But guess what? You don't have to go super sexy for things. That there's a fine line on that where too much is too much, and the appeal goes away."
Well, he delivers. He really does.
He does.
Awesome.
I usually have them do one 11 by 17 a year for me. And usually it's a 2 characters. Like I did one, it was Lady Death in Purgatory, then the other one's Dawn and Vampirella.
Nice.
And so next year will probably be a combination of something else. But but he is so like intricate, and he's part of, like, he wants you to be part of the design phase too. He's like, and that's what I really appreciate, because some artists don't do that. Some are like, all right, I'm going to go do this for you, and then I'm going to make it. I'll come back to you. And then if you say, well, I got some changes I want you to do, Albert D's like, he feels bad. Like, he legit feels bad, if he does something wrong.
Well, he's a good guy, and he wants to deliver. He appreciates the fact that you're giving money and time and attention, and that he respects that. So, like, the guy is like, he'll take feedback, and he'll be like, okay, let me do this, this, and this. And, like, he's just really eager to learn, really eager to please, really good dude. And so I wish everybody was like that. Donnie from There Be Shadows is already super amazing, and it's been pretty easy with like minor tweaks here and there. He's such a good storyteller, such a good like cartoonist. So he can do all the angles, he can do all the different types of characters and stuff like that from those angles, and still keep it like consistent, and then also really, really impact the story in a strong way. It's just stellar work.
Absolutely. I am head over heels with everything we've seen that everyone is, putting into all this right now. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I think that the team fits really well together, and the product speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I really do. From the covers to the interiors, the whole nine. I just think that everybody's really out here putting out the best quality that they could possibly put out. I couldn't be happier with it, to be honest with you. I think that a lot of people will find the storytelling reminiscent of, old school scary stories.
Yeah, it's definitely a creepy thing, and it kind of builds off of like the fact that, hey, these are children, and they're not like badass fucking special forces dudes who want to like go in with guns blazing. It's like, hey, these are children, and there is something scary coming after them, and they're children. They don't have anything to defend themselves against it with.
For sure. So, I think that's interesting, right? When you you take something though that people have grown up with, and you turn it upside down on its head. It also, like we've talked about that before. We've talked about memory and what memory does to your thought processes. If you have a memory of something, it's going to draw you further into storytelling. If you have an experience with something, you're going to be like, oh, I remember something like that. That's, it draws you further into the world that you're paying attention to, and the world that you're watching. And I think that's a very interesting concept. Like with There Be Shadows, it's one of these things where you're literally going out and almost hunting a scary story, right? It's Shawnee.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Shawnee.
Hey, Nathan.
And so, since Dustin didn't tell everybody, we are live on Shadows.
We are live.
And that's probably going to be my most expensive ethereal one that I've done.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know you're not. You do ask me to get that cover.
It's cool.
Well, it's one of those things where, the storytelling with this particular book has even pushed me to an angle of excitement that I have. Let me be honest with you, I write a lot, right? Like I write a lot. Like I put down pages every day. Like we were joking the other day about I put like 30 pages down in like 6 hours a day just because I I needed to do it. But
When
there's
you're writing and also packing and making sure everybody gets the right product and then it's
yeah,
looking good.
well, that insanity is behind me. So,
Just saying.
but no, there's something about this story that draws my attention. It draws my want. I enjoy writing. Right? I love, I love the books we're in on. I love the books we're in on, but that's new for us.
Wow.
So,
We haven't been spammed yet.
Welcome to the world of bots.
There we go. You've made it. You know you made
Right?
it.
Yeah. You're being targeted by the AI.
But no, so we're we move in direction with storytelling, and this particular book has brought us into a realm of almost like a jittery in your face type of storytelling, because you're immediately alone, and that's what draws my attention to the story so much. Is you have no friends, you have nobody, you have nobody looking out for you when this story starts. You're in a brand new place, in a very different environment than you've ever been in before.
All the adults are a hostile situation, and like nobody's really there to help you. Like, yeah.
It's just,
and when you're a kid, that's rough.
Right? It's terrifying, right? Who can you talk to? Who can you trust? And then all of a sudden, you're the one person that you've started to bond with. That when you get there, is telling you that you shouldn't be associating with other people and you need to kind of stick to yourself. And it's one of those things where it almost starts forming like a pseudo paranoia. Why should I not speak to people? Why should I not associate with people? And now you're forming almost a sort of almost like desensitizing yourself from other individuals. Like, I shouldn't talk to this person because they'll get me in trouble, or that person's not nice, so I don't want to associate, and I want to stick to myself.
It's a type of conditioning.
It absolutely is, and that's and that'll be part of the storytelling.
Look at me.
Right. It'll start working.
Picking up on the stuff.
Yeah. It'll start working its way into his mental state and how he associates with individuals and how he feels about where he is. Because granted, it is an orphanage again, but where are all the female children at the orphanage? You've also got the fact that it's run by nuns. There's nothing wrong with that. Why? And they're all nice to him, you know what I mean? But you have one that's not. But why is she the way she is? What is the stigmatism with all these characters that they act the way they act? No one is normal in this.
Is this another harem book, Dustin?
Is it another what?
Harem book?
No, not in the least. Absolutely not a harem book. No, harem book. No. That's a My Metal Girl thing, and if you guys haven't checked that out, you should go run over there and check it out.
Yeah. I just had to picture this stuff, Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you this from reading before I saw any pictures or anything from it. It's a story that you would never known it had to deal with Peter Pan at all or anything. Like, if I hadn't saw the images on it, I would have never thought it was a Peter Pan story, except for little hints here and there,
right?
Like the crocodile and the watch,
right?
The little things like that you pick up, and then you see at the end the actual pictures of it. You see Peter Pan with Tinkerbell, and the deviousness about it. It's like, and this is Davy Jones we're talking about.
Yes,
the same Davy Jones who has a locker, who was a badass pirate way back when, who got turned into Hook in the Peter Pan story after everything. So,
no, absolutely. It is one of those things where it's like it's meant to. Again, the storytelling is to draw you into directions. You know what I mean? everything that I write, and Shawnee can attest to it, and I know Nate can as well. Everything that I write, though, has meaning. There's never anything that I put on paper that I forget. There's always new, like we're drawn into the different things. If I mention his name's Davy Jones, there's a reason his name is Davy Jones. You know what I mean? There's a reason, his nickname is Hook. You know what I mean? There's a reason for all these little teeny things that are going on in the story. Just like his buddies, he meets Jonathan Shmee. One interesting note about it is the Pan thing is an arc. Correct. It's not the full, range of the story. And I enjoy that. I enjoyed the fact that Pan was a great story to start with. And then we move into others. We move into other fantasy stories and interesting, almost science fiction storytelling, because you start meeting these fantastical characters and just these over-the-top villains and anti-heroes and all kinds of other stuff, but it's all based in this orphanage. But eventually you find out the orphanage is the character in and of itself, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the church, there's a lot going on with, again, I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times. The last few times we've talked live about it, where all the female characters are, where, there doesn't seem to be any young girls there when it's supposed to be a place for girls and boys. There's reasons behind those part to the storytelling. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like I'm having a lot of fun with the nuns. I'm having a lot of fun with all their stories because
the nuns.
That can be really bad.
But I enjoy flushing out everyone. Like if there's a character, I flush out all our characters. And it's I'm sure it's mind-boggling to some of the team members sometimes because I'll be like, hey, Mr. Hunter, I need like 9 different character designs for everything going on in this particular book.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's when you have an art director, it's good for a publishing house. It's good for a team. Because you can go to your art director and be like, hey, look, I'm curious about what this character looks like. And when you have an art director, they've designed the character. So they can immediately go, hey, look, this is what you should do this. This is how this should appear. This is, typical clothing for this era, so on and so forth. But as we progress in this story, you'll meet many, 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 many more characters that I'm sure you've seen at least once in your childhood. I'm sure you have. This particular book was something that I'm a big storytelling fan. Like I love to read. Oh my God. It's so ridiculous how much I enjoy it. But I enjoy making people happy, and I enjoy as much as we put out scary stories and we put out, the darker side of tales and whatnot. I still like making people happy with the books we put out. I like. You sounded like you had a wash rag.
Was it Charlie Brown?
See?
Handle your chicken there, Charlie Brown.
No, I'm saying that's how you lure them in. You say, hey, there's fun escapades about. And then you scare them and destroy them.
Right. Then you're stuck. You've been caught in the trap. No,
now you're invested.
Yes. Well, that's it. That's a very funny terminology because when indie comics, right? Indie comics people put out a book, and a lot of people are afraid to invest their time, which is valuable more than anything else, is their time and their patronage. So when you go in and you put out a book and people get invested and they're enjoying it, or, that's the way to publish, putting out a book and then people having to wonder if they'll ever get a second issue or a third issue
Mhm.
is not how to publish. That's
Mhm.
like publishing 101. You
Well,
know,
and that is most of the indie market. So I mean, we fortunately have been able to keep things going, and like the fact that we have 4 Beige Core Dinosaur, we're working on the 3rd is a Hops, and we're 2nd, 3rd,
5
or
issues
7.
for
Like
listener,
things are
4 issues
right.
agreed.
hmm
We
Most people
could
are
go
on a good
on.
time.
You know what I mean? Right now we're mailing
And you
out.
will hopefully, and go on and on.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're mailing out Fallen Leaves. Fallen Leaves 2 is in production. You know what I mean? There's all these different amazing, amazing books with amazing different teams. And I'll say this summer's lineup is bat stuff crazy. Like it's really.
Wait, are we not allowed to swear that now that we're on Twitch as well? Because I already said a potty word.
I suppose we can. I'm just trying to be frugal about my swearing.
I think
We'll
the
put-
occasional verbal slip up is different than a visual slip up. So
Okay,
Yeah, that's
good.
fair. That's super fair.
We're going to give Dustin a jar, a swear jar.
Oh, okay.
Man,
I would
will
have
be
to pitch
so
in.
broke.
We all would.
I would say April should manage that, but yeah, that's not going to happen. She's
I,
the
I,
worst.
I would
She'd be the worst of us, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Have
I'd
to
never,
have that.
I'd never get through it. It would just be one of those situations where I just never made it. But I think that people will enjoy this story because as scary as it is, you have so many wins. Like there's so many wins for the characters because as much as I like scaring people, I enjoy making people happy. So there's nothing better than, your protagonist overcoming something absolutely horrifying.
Isn't
Especially
that like how storytelling is supposed to go?
No, I refuse. I am not.
Oh, I mean, like,
getting
isn't that a good storytelling device that people just don't understand these
It really
days?
is.
Yeah.
It really is, but it's a trope. And we normally don't do tropes. You know what I mean? That's one of those things that if you can expect the ending, I've done it wrong. But this particular series was one where I was like, man, look, Oz and Cade have a real tough time in Greed. Like they have a tough time. Like it is not like those two dudes, as much fun as it is slapstick between the two of them, they have a tough time. So
You put them in some serious stuff sometimes, yeah.
man, that book does not get any nicer to those two characters. I
Poor
promise.
guys.
But this particular book,
What's going to happen to him now?
oh my gosh, you guys just started the Serpentry arc, so we're doing the Serpentry stuff right now, and that's absolutely bat stuff crazy. So, but I'm having a lot of fun with that too. But I'm issues upon issues upon issues ahead with those books. But this is a book, and again, I really like winning in this situation. Like I like the idea of the characters winning. It's not something where
You never know.
yeah, well, I do a lot of that with other books though. I do a lot of you don't know who's living through this situation. You don't know who's gonna make it through that situation. This particular book is almost my answer to a Harry Potter. You know what I mean? And what it would be like if Harry Potter was scary. To me, Harry Potter could have been real scary, but we were not going to make it scary. You know what I mean? And
It had to build into it. Like the later bits were scary, and it was like they grew up with the audience. But I mean, we can attack that right away. And I mean, it is a scary story. So
yeah, it absolutely is. The whole deal with the tagline "Tag Your It" is to me, it's absolutely frightening. Like it really is, because last time we were live, time before last, we talked about what it was to play Manhunt. And Manhunt, Manhunt,
Man bun,
Man bun,
hair flip.
They're back there.
Channeling his inner
That's
April.
about a half of one. That don't count.
I have to.
Manhunt was like the game where it was like tag, but you played in the whole
April
neighborhood.
gets marching orders.
Manhunt?
Manhoot, yes. You'd play in the whole neighborhood, and you'd have one home base where you could go and retrieve people that were tagged and caught and taken to jail. But it was scary when we played because we didn't have street lights. We lived out in the boons, you know, so you were running through the streets and stuff, chasing each other and yoking each other up. Like it wasn't nice, you know, it was, you know, oh my
Tackle.
God. Yeah,
You
tackling
guys see the
people,
comment? LC
old
said,
Elsie.
"Good night,
I mean,
everyone." Is April not here? A hug for her.
yeah, April is
LC.
not here. She
Yeah.
is doing stuff, but
No worries. Yeah, thanks, LC. We love you.
yeah,
You do great work.
love the hug. But no, it's one of those things where as I wanted to do a story like that and make it really scary. Like I wanted it to be legitimately scary. And you know, one thing about fear is it's often associated with the dark. And
Yes.
I wanted to associate it with the light. I wanted you to be scared when the light came on, not when the light went off.
Ah, Dustin, you are determined to twist me up and
Yeah.
You did a job then.
no, now you're gonna make me have issues with the light. I don't know
Yeah,
about you anymore.
but that's the deal with it is, you know, if you know the lore behind Pan, there is a lot to do with the character's shadow. There's a lot to do with light. There's a lot to do with Wendy. There's a lot to do with Tinkerbell, all these characters. And again, I am just like with Underland, right? Everybody has done their own versions of so many stories and tales that I have to make mine so very different. Like they have to be so different as they'd be unrecognizable without the names. You would never know them, you know. And then people are like, oh, you know, the little tidbits, the crocodile on the watch,
Mhm.
you know, the deal with that, and we're not even going to get into that because that's way too in depth in the story. But there's so much going on with this character and the whole tag your it thing, you know, and fairy dust and where the dust comes from, you know, and you'll notice that our Tinkerbell is not dressed like the Tinkerbell that you're used to seeing, or you know, our Pan is dressed a little bit differently than you're used to seeing the character. Because I want him to look gross. I want him to look gnarly, you know, and I don't want him to be yeah, just like I can't. Well, this is the one I can show you this one. And
Yes.
David Ocampo did this cover, and I absolutely love it. Like I love it. But if you look, you see the tears in his
Mhm.
outfit, and you see the stitching where it's been put together, and a lot of that has significant value to the story, you know, and what you're getting in that because it's every element. Like if you read a book, every little element means something, especially with an ethereal book. Like I said, if you're putting together something, it should have significant value to the reader. If I make it out like, hey, look, it's important that that cloth is black fabric. There's a reason that I made it out that that cloth is black fabric.
Or whether it's light or dusk or like
Right.
morning
Right.
or
Storytelling, the whole nine.
Yeah.
There's
Well, just like you had Smee in there under the halfway through the bed, you can see a little head pop out at the bottom. Like if you don't really look for that, you wouldn't have saw that.
right.
You would have just saw Davy.
Those little details are, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, it's like it's almost like its own type of storytelling.
Mhm.
Like our Tinkerbell has black frayed clothing. And what you'll notice is
Cover.
oh my goodness, Steph Wilson. This is probably honestly, no joke. This is probably my favorite Steph and Carrie cover to date. Like it really probably is. And we've been working together for 2 years now. So, I mean, I've seen my fair share of, and that's like a cover a month, if not 2 covers a month from them. And it's definitely, yeah, probably one of my favorites. And I'm honestly over the moon about the cover.
Oh yeah, I
Like
love
that,
that.
oh my gosh, that cover A is dumb. Like dumb. If that was on a wall in a shop, I'm walking out with that book.
Mhm.
Like I'm walking out with that book. I don't give a
Just
shit
check it
what
out.
it costs or what the
Mhm.
name is. That cover is going home with me.
It just reaches out and goes, hello,
It
you will
does.
read me now.
Yeah,
It,
take
it
me.
wants you to know what it is.
Absolutely. Same thing with this one.
Yep.
Come explore in between
Oh my
my covers.
gosh, you know,
Look in my
like,
pages.
Bladen and Olvera on that one. Silly how good it is. And
I love how subtle it is too still. I mean, just the subtlety of the differences that are there and everything else. And at first glance, it's like, oh, that's cool. Then you look at it more, you're going,
Yeah,
wait,
yes,
that's
so-
not right. There's something wrong here.
Exactly.
But that's another thing. I have, as a young dude, we still thought in my world, women made the world rotate as a young dude. You know what I mean? It was sports, surfing, comic books. Chicks made the world rotate. You know what I mean? If there were no women in the world would have stopped moving for me. Like it just would have not moved. I would have not been able to breathe. So that is also a very interesting thing with storytelling. When you're writing about a young dude, you have to remember that for that young dude, women are interesting still. Women are beautiful. Women are a constant mystery, and that's the play off of Tinkerbell.
It's just not just young dudes. I mean, that is
Well,
forever.
for sure. You know what I mean? But it's coming from the perspective of a young male character.
Mhm.
You're talking about this hypersexualized creature that is talking to you, and you may have only talked to 5 girls in your whole life, and this overwhelming being is sitting here talking to you and trying to coerce you to do things or to get to come out of where you are,
It's
or
like a young guy reading his first Gen 13 comic or something like that, you know?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fairchild is something.
Have you
It's
already
ancient
showed
Julia
the-
Roberts, Tinkerbell.
Yeah. Are we talking about True Lies? I mean, what's up? Showing my age.
That was good. That was a good one.
Well,
yeah, I'm there with
Well,
you.
you were talking about the house as a character.
Yeah,
As soon as you said that, it reminded me of House from 1987, the movie.
for
You
sure.
know, like
For
where it came out, everything in that house could come and get you because it's
Oh,
haunted,
yeah.
and there's stuff there that can get you. So I'm like,
Well, if you look at the
Mhm.
cover, the building, when you enter the building, is much larger than what it looks like from this cover. Like it's much, much, much larger. And that's the most interesting thing about it. Like you could walk into a room and it be huge compared to what you expected.
Like huger than you expect the entire building to be.
Absolutely.
mhm.
You're talking about like a cafeteria sized lunchroom in this building.
Like in The
And-
Shining, like the ballroom
Yeah.
is bigger than
Absolutely.
you expect the entire hotel to be.
That's exactly what it's like. And I absolutely love it. I am thrilled with the amount of intuitive artwork that we're getting for it.
Give more of the covers.
Oh my gosh,
those interiors,
covers,
yeah.
interiors, like
Look at the
Dottie
movement.
is-
Look at the focus in that. That is amazing.
Dottie's a beast, man, for sure.
Like being art
and-
director,
and-
he's like he delivers, and I got nothing to say. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Right? It's
Dustin
just-
shared the ink work, just the black and white lines.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, that's
crazy
my
impact.
forte.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Like, stuff's amazing.
I think that's something that we as a brand are pushing, is to
Mhm.
always be improving, always to be pushing our own limits. And even myself, like I'll always try to put out a better story than the last story I put out.
Mhm.
I always try to lift a story. Like if I go from one issue to the next issue, I'm always trying to see where I can improve in my own storytelling ability. I am head over heels with Wendy from this story. I wish I could show you Jen's cover because it's absolutely astonishing. I can't show you half the covers because we're on Twitch. But they're so good. Like they're
It's
so
a
good.
convenient excuse, Dustin. A convenient excuse.
Go check out the
I'm
Kickstarter.
cheap.
They're
I
all
am.
there.
I'm looking at it now.
They're on there. You know,
There you
go.
go.
I got my legend. I'm happy.
No, but June's cover is so good. Like the details and the eye from Pan looking in through like the crack in the door.
Flash of green. Yeah.
So good. Like,
Yeah, it
but
took me a while too. 'Cause I was looking at it. All of a sudden, what the hell's? Oh my!
Yeah.
God.
yeah,
Mhm.
like, well, I want him to be like that. I want him to be creepy and just nasty on so many levels. You know, to be like, you know, and that goes hand in hand with fear and terror, right? How would you feel if someone was peeping in on you? That's invasive. That's intrusive. That's fear on a whole nother level. You
Mhm.
know.
Never
And
experienced that. It's not fun.
yeah, no, I can't imagine. I can't imagine it is. You know, to have your space invaded or your privacy invaded. That sounds absolutely horrifying. And to me, I was like, well, now if it's terrifying to me, let's call report a story.
Let's see
So,
what happens with the characters.
Mhm.
go ahead, Mr. Hooter.
I
Okay.
was just agreeing. I'm slurping
right
it too. Remains
on.
alive.
Right. Enjoy your
I know.
cheese.
Yes,
Get that fried chicken.
Ah, greasy fingers.
Right.
Mm.
Oh,
Greasy
Finger
fingers
looking
and
good.
burgers.
you know, but there's a lot of different types of in-your-face storytelling with this book, and I like I said, I want you to be invested in his wins. I want you to be invested in his losses. You know, again, as much as I like people being happy, this is also a book from Ethereal, so not everybody's going to make it all the time. You know,
And
it's
they got to earn it, right?
do what now?
They have to earn it, right?
Yeah, well,
You gotta earn your happy ending.
surviving is something I feel like people have to
Mhm.
earn. You know, and if a character is not, again, in true storytelling, like in making it believable and making it deep, you have to give every character a personality, minor or not. You know, so you have to be able, like, we have the twins in this book, and the twins are absolutely mortifying to me. I find them to be scarier than just about anything else, but it's just because they're very one emotion type of characters. They're very very linear, but under the surface they're very shisty. You know, they're
Mhm.
very, you know, they have their own ways. Like they want to win. You know, I keep talking about tag. I'm not going to go too far into it, but they want to win. You know, so they're going to go out of their way to make sure they win. You know, and I think that's interesting. You know, 'cause
almost
you-
beyond it. It's just they'll
yeah,
do most everything they need to in order to accomplish it.
that whole, you know, if you're running from a bear, trip your buddy thing, which most of us are, you're a terrible human.
They take that as
There,
a
you
general
gotta be faster than the sun.
That's how they view it. They're like, oh well, if we sacrifice this person or this person, we're gonna win. You know, so you not only have your very in your face villains, you also have your gnarly side characters and stuff. Wendy, I'm gonna be honest with you, is 1,000,000% different than any Wendy you guys have ever seen. 1,000,000% different. You know,
Wendy Darling.
yeah, she's not a nice person. Like, just not a nice person. But she's one of those people, again, that knows how to use herself to get what she wants, you know? And that's a very scary thing in itself, because this is a person that's an adult and is supposed to assist you as a child, but they have their own agenda, you know?
Trust. Yeah. If you're there, it's not. You never know.
Right. You don't know who's on your team, who's not. What you got, Shawnee?
Funded.
What? Dope. Love it.
I just added some stuff.
Love it. Love it. Thank
I
you.
wonder. Yeah, we need to see like all the people backing us and stuff like that. Like it's so amazing, and like
It really is, man.
yeah, it's nuts. Like it's such a blessing to be able to do what you want, keep things going, and like be able to make a career out of something, delivering something for people.
Well, it's amazing to create something again that we can draw people into. Because if we were telling stories that didn't draw people in, it wouldn't be worth their time. You know, it wouldn't be worth the fans or the friends or the relationships we've created. And I think that again, part of that is us having to improve on everything we do. I think it's owed to the people that, you know, are buying the books, pre-ordering the products, you know, whatever else, you know, buying the statues, buying the pillows, buying the trading cards.
Oh yeah, you got a new shipment of pillows in. How's that going?
Oh my gosh.
Can't tell the certain.
They are gorgeous.
Ooh.
They're super gorgeous. And they're all sold but like one. So I've got a couple orders of BGD that they're going out with here shortly. Awesome. And then the rest of them are waiting for their implants and going out with
That statement cracks me up. I love it.
I know.
They're waiting. I have you would not believe how many implants I ordered very recently.
Oh, I think we all would believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
You know the crazy people who back these campaigns.
Like it was so cool though. Like I was like reaching out to the dude because the implants come from in country.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't take as long as the actual pillowcases themselves. But it's really cool when somebody's like, hey, look, because I went with G's when I bought mine. The very first round, I bought my own pillow and I bought my own just so I could take it to shows and I could show it off and we could use it in marketing.
He endorses this product.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed
advertising
to anything downstairs. Let me tell you. I'm so not allowed to. But it's one of those things where they're real. They're real implants. They're not like any kind of crazy shenanigans that some dude made in his basement. They're like legit implants. And so I was like, well, I'll get the biggest ones and I'll put them in my pillow, right?
Proof of concept there. Yeah.
That's it. Proof of concept. So then, I love your shirt, by the way. So I'm like, but when we ordered these implants this last time, there weren't any A's, there weren't any B's, there was a bunch of C's and D's and one G, and I was just like,
you went the G route.
The G's come in these big old honker boxes. Let me tell you, they come in this box like serious, like all of them come in these really nice boxes. They're these foldable boxes. It's all like they come in like felt. They're real nice boxes. And like, so like, oh my God.
Yeah. All right.
I saved mine. Like I saved my box just so I could, whenever somebody ordered like a really, really nice piece from us, like a 1 in 100 or, you know, whatever, or a 1 in 25, I mailed out the 1 in 25, the last 1 in 125 we did in this box because the box was amazing. Like it's amazing.
Not only did you get a great comic, but you got an awesome box too.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing box. So, but normally they come 2 per box. But when you get the G's come in 1 box per unit. And it's like, I thought it was going to be like a clear type of deal, you know, because I thought it was going to be clear, but it's like skin toned, like nipple tone.
Real deal.
It does look like the real deal. Insanity. So anyway,
I can't imagine when you're opening them up too, when you have like, you know, the C's and D's and then you get yours and you compare them. It's like,
I did. Like the first time, I totally did it. I was like, look at.
Yeah, I know you did.
Bigger than yours. Yeah, no, it was so much fun. I was like a kid in a candy factory, but
13-year-old Dustin shows up.
Yeah, no, he'd have been in all sort of trouble. He'd have never left the house.
What are these?
These are very soft. No, but so we got the new stuff coming in, but the new cards have come in. The new cards look incredible. I'm very excited about them. We also, holy crap, we also picked up Mr. Musgrave for stickers for this book. And I don't know that we've got them on the Kickstarter. We'll add them in the day or so if we don't have them on there tonight. But man, they're cool. Like, so I've been having separation anxiety since my buddy Trevor went on siesta. And so we've been looking for somebody that those are real big shoes to fill. So I've been looking for somebody that can do fun stickers for a little while now. And we found a few. We found a couple really, really good ones. But we went with Mr. Musgrave on these stickers, and they're awesome. They're so awesome. But you guys will get your regular stickers, the free ones. We always do free ones. But these will be paid stickers, but they're like $2 a piece, but they're super cool. Like they're so good. Like they're so good.
Some, or
yeah. So we have our free stickers, then we have the premium stickers. Let me see if I can actually. I'll show them to you. Hold on. I can
because they're not on the Kickstarter as of yet. So.
Yeah, no, I'll add more work here. That's
all. I will.
Because I was looking for.
I will definitely add them in the next day or so. Cool. But they came in, and I wanted to make sure that everybody had approved them before I sent them off. Let me see if I can grab them real quick.
Well, I'll tell you what I want next time. I want a challenge coin. I want a challenge coin.
Man, oh man, oh man. Challenge coin. So I like that idea, right? Like I'm in. I get it. I'm in for the challenge coins. Let me see if they might just be. I think they're in my conversation with April. Hold on. Challenge coins are really cool, but I worry that everyone's doing them. That's my fear. That's my fear with a lot of things. Like I try so hard to be different that I worry that we're gonna do something that everybody and their mother is already doing.
I think it's important to keep that in mind, but at the same time, since a lot of your content is very different, you're always trying to keep it fresh and new. I think on the occasional thing, following a trend, if people like it for things like the stretch goals and stuff like that, is not necessarily a bad thing. Because they're going to popular for a reason. Go. Like them, so.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. No, I'm with that. Here, I found it.
Well, like for me, I collect coins from every person, like every company.
I love that.
For that reason, like, oh, that's a little devious one.
Right?
That face.
It's just super cute and fun. We've got another one that he's doing. I'm not going to show you because it's a giveaway for the next campaign. It's not a giveaway, but it's a giveaway for the next campaign. But it's cute. It's a Compsognathus. It's a dinosaur. That's what I'm just going to say from going forward. It's a dinosaur.
Ricky.
Yeah. It's a dinosaur dragging a pair of underwear. So,
I know what you're talking about.
So it's cute and it's fun. We had a couple covers oh man. So none of the cover artists get to see each other's cover work before it's done.
Okay.
Except Bladen, he gets to see everybody's stuff. You know what I mean? But
most of the time I do the first one, so right. I'm just like, okay, everyone's going to do about this theme after I do this. That's cool.
Right. So like three different artists did something related to the same thing.
Variation, yeah. It was almost like they gave them an assignment, like a theme.
Right. It was almost like they thought about a theme.
Maybe I was in collusion. You don't know.
Oh my gosh, so much fun! It was so much fun, and every one of them that we got was so good that I was just like, whatever. You know what I mean? This is super fun. So I was like, cool. Look, we'll throw a sticker in here that's related, and it'll just be fun. It'll be a running gag between all of us. Because the covers are beautiful, and it's crazy that book drops in like 2 weeks.
Dude, that's awesome. Like,
that book.
No one of the companies are doing this. Like, No other indies are dropping books, keeping things going, delivering great product, pushing stuff out. Like it's nuts.
Dude.
Well, I remember when
Gonna
you
are
toot
gave
our
me
own horns for a minute there.
Yeah. What were you
I
saying,
mean,
Nate?
you gave me the script for that months ago,
Yeah.
and literally we had talked about it, like, and we were going through it, like the edits and stuff that I had questions about,
Yeah.
and to see it go from that to it's going live already, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's wild. I mean, but the team, when you do it full time and you have a dedicated team that works in the industry full time, it changes the game a little bit. It makes things, your most indies work with indie creators. Most indie I'm going to say indie publishers, and I'm saying it to be polite. That's how I'm gonna phrase that. Most of these cats, they come out and they put out a book, and they go the cheapest route they can go to get a book out. You know what I mean? So you tend to be working with people that are new to the industry, or you're working with people that aren't professional. They want to be. There's nothing wrong with that. They want to be. So they're doing their work to get there. They're putting in their time and their due diligence. But when you're used to working with deadlines and stuff, it makes things faster. It's like you're used to working on products, so you're constantly churning, you're constantly working, and it's just like a normal day-to-day job. You've conditioned yourself to produce this amount of product in this amount of time. And like right now, we've got 5 books in production, 6 books in production right now, and
I don't know. Yeah, I can't even keep up.
Bladen is doing artwork on like 2 of them, and
Yeah. Am I allowed to show anything on that, or
yeah, you can show whatever you want.
What are you do anything? That's wild. Don't be like that.
I believe you. You can share stuff as long as it's stuff that we already know is out.
Well, no, not like that. Yeah, no, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. But
Never mind.
as long as we talked about it previously.
No, man, I just like to mess up your schedule and
right on. That's fair. But no, we're like right now we've got everybody on board with Cretaceous. That's what we're all working on right this second, because we've got There Be Shadows is already going. That's going. And then, Cretaceous, we've all got 2 weeks before that's doing its own thing. It's like when you're cooking, right? When you're cooking something, you've got all your ingredients you put in your pot, and you put your pot on your oven, or you put it on your stove, or you put it in the oven, right? So then it has its time period to deal with what it's doing. So then you go, what's up, Jimmy? How's it going, brother? So then you go, okay, well now I've got my shit cooking, my stuff. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start prepping my next, thing that's got to be cooked, So now you're going, how many pages do I need by this date? What do we need by that date? So right now we're in the cooling phase for Cretaceous that drops in 2 weeks.
Everybody needs to get flirtatious with Cretaceous.
That's it. Good job, Mr.
That's your T-shirt.
That's it. Oh, speaking of T-shirts. Where's Mr. Hunter has got the designs done for the T-shirts.
Ooh. All right, you better show them.
I did that. No, I can't show them.
Did do that.
I can't show them. I have to wait until they're colored and like a print sample. Yes.
That's it. Wait for a print sample.
Yeah.
But they look really, really good. They're adorable.
I forgot that that's what those were for. I just drew them, and then I redrew them because they weren't good enough for everybody. And then now they're amazing.
They do look very, very good. And then
if Mr. Hunter says they're amazing, then you know they are.
They're very
he is his own worst critic.
He really is.
They're okay. They're okay.
They're okay. Okay.
They came out really, really
You're
good.
okay is something we will adore. So it's all good.
Exactly.
I'm thrilled with them. They came out great. The designs are really, really good. So
I'm very excited to see them.
Yes, they'll all have the hashtag Ethereal Girl on the back. And then the new ones that we do, the men's shirts will say, Team Ethereal on them.
Now, how are you
But-
going to roll those out? Are you going to roll them out during a Kickstarter, or are you going to do it on the
I think we're just
website?
gonna put them out on Facebook or whatever, and
Well, we
then
have a website that if anybody's missing back issues, they can go by. Or
yeah.
each
I
campaign we
would say the
do.
website would be a good place to put them on. Yeah.
The website is great. It
Well,
just
each
has
campaign we give an opportunity for people to catch up with books, but it's
absolutely
also our entire library is available on the website, which is
up to If It Hops
dash
is available on the
comics.com.
website. So
Yeah,
what we're doing now is Russ is going in and rebuilding out the website.
that poor
Um,
Steve. He does so much work.
He
I
does.
feel bad for
Love
that
Russ.
boy. He's the most underpaid person in the indie industry.
Hardest working.
You know
in
what's funny?
He's
You know
yeah.
what's funny? I'm not going to talk about it. That's how funny it is. But I'm not going to talk about it.
Way to
But
not bring up the subject.
Russ is incredibly talented. Does a lot of work.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things where the more we build out, the more we put on the website. The website is great. If you're a digital fan, the website is stupid cool. Like all you do is click on it, and the second you click on it, you get the file. I mean, it's real easy. And that goes for like if you're a fan of reading on your phone, your tablet, or anything. The website does have a mobile app to it. So like if you hop on there and you're like, oh man, they've got whatever digital that you want to read, you can literally it's $4.99. You click it and it immediately loads it onto your thing. It's super simple. Love it to death.
People love nice and easy. So yep.
Oh man, the KISS principles save my life on a daily basis.
Well,
But
and I highly recommend if you've not read The Listener, buy it in the trade paperback version because it
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was
Yep.
the best way to read it. Plus the extra story that's in it.
oh
you know.
man, yeah.
Yep.
So funny that you bring that up. I just finished the last 4 pages for Frog Legs, and
Okay.
sent them to Alberty.
Bonus pages.
But the bonus pages.
Yes.
So Alberty has the bonus pages now, and he'll be reaching out to you for some character designs anyway. But I think it's funny that you brought up the trade paperback for The Listener, because The Listener trade paperback has Guy's journal on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Guy's journal has all the short stories that I'd written.
Oh, cool.
So for all these characters. So
Lore
like
from inside the lore.
yeah, oh my gosh, I had so much fun with Guy's journal. Like I had ridiculous amount of fun with it.
Cool.
But so like what we did was we had Gabby painted full character portraits, and then I wrote mini stories for each of these character portraits. Like
Really cool.
oh man, it's ridiculous fun. Like at some point I need to get you a trade paperback and just send it to you. But
So I have a silly question.
yeah, please.
Is that trade paperback available on the website digitally?
It is not on the website, but you can get it from me digitally. It will be on the website before long. It was one of the things that came out.
Another reason to bug Dustin. I like it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Oh my gosh, I adore The Listener. Like it's my heart on paper all the time. So
That's personal. Yeah.
yeah, it's so personal. So
I have all the floppies. I wasn't able to do the campaign for the
Yeah.
trade paperback, unfortunately. So yeah, but I'll reach out to you because I would love to have those extras and everything.
I
else.
will.
We'll talk later.
It's so Guy's journal was like it was something that I tried to do before I was prepared to do it. Like I was so excited about it that I had no clue what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to be this amazing thing. And I put all this time into writing these stories, and they're real painted images that Gabby worked on. Like they're real, like
Physical.
hundreds of hours of work on these paintings that are in that book.
Wow.
And I put all this time into it, and I wanted it to look like it was written in a journal. But I didn't have a letterer back then.
Okay.
So what we were doing was I'm an engineer. A lot of people don't know that, but I'm a digital engineer, and classically trained at Universal Studios to work in film. But so anyway, I set it up. The pages look great, and they came out awesome. Eric was working on it. The book looked great. Whatever. But I wanted the pages to look like they'd been almost burned, like the book had been almost burned. And I wanted it so bad to look like leather. Like I wanted it to look like leather so bad. So I bought this amazing like background stuff and did all this cool stuff with it. And it didn't come out anywhere near as awesome as I wanted it to. But the cool thing about it was when we had the trade paperback come out, was 2.5 years, almost 3 years after I'd put out the first issue. So it was like, man, I actually have an idea of what I'm doing now, and I can put it in the back of this and it'll look phenomenal, and it did. It came out and it looked great. And because I didn't have a letterer or an editor at that point in time,
or an art director,
I did not have an art director or a project manager or many, many other things at that point.
or some family.
You may actually find an error in that book, which is funny to me because I'm real tough on myself about that kind of thing. And I'm fairly certain there's a line crossed out, like it's supposed to look like it was crossed out by pen on a word. But then in my notes, they didn't take my notes out. So my notes are in parentheses over the line crossed out. I may have taken those 2 pages out. I may have for the trade paperback, but it may not be in there. And it made me laugh so hard after I cried. After I got upset about it. But it came out really, really good. But again, it's stories that oh my gosh. I reading my writing from like when I go to write a book is very different than when I write a comic book, or I'm putting short stories together and stuff. So what I'm getting to, and long stories should have been short, Nate, is one of those short stories I pulled and I put it in the back of those 4 additional pages.
Nice.
So you'll actually get to see one of our first main antagonists for Froglegs in the back of the book. So
Neat.
pretty
Little
stoked.
crossover situation.
Yeah, well, that's the same world, just like Greed. Greed's in the same world, so you'll see characters, from those different in places. Speaking of crossovers, we got the Halloween coming up.
Yeah, what am I allowed to show me anything? Do you know?
If you want to show your cover lines, I'm cool with it.
Covers, okay, hold on.
I read that story. I feel so bad for them. That's just the first issue. You got 2 more to go.
Yeah.
Say that all?
Like-
I didn't hear it. I was speaking things.
Oh,
Was
he was
that
just talking about how we did them so terribly.
Oh, how they're awful? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
bad.
really?
Well, I was having a moment. So
Yeah, kill 'em all mode it.
yeah, well, the cover looks really, really good though.
Which
Blade's
cover?
cover is
Hmm?
super, super fun Halloween cover. I think it's gonna be fun. I think people are gonna enjoy it.
This just screams Halloween, right?
I think it does.
Oh yeah, it's got
I
the
mean-
whole Jack from Trick or Treat feeling to it. With the stars in hand.
All the concepts for the costumes.
You can,
Really,
yeah,
really
for
cool.
sure. Yeah, Bladen
Cool.
has done all the layouts for the character costumes and stuff, so the artists will have ideas of what the characters are wearing and stuff
Yeah.
like that throughout the books.
Yeah.
It is the first mini series we're doing, We've never done a miniseries before.
Yeah,
So
so remember the Christmas issue? It's like that. It's kind of like outside of the general canon, and then it's a whole fun situation with everybody.
absolutely.
So I thought it'd be kind of funny to do a couple pairings or a couple unique pieces based off of our characters. So we have Eve, and she is dressed up like a bank robber, and then Maya is a police person because I thought that would be funny. So here we
It
go.
is. So
And then this might spark something a little bit later, but Agent K as like a pocketball monster trainer type character type thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
These
she
are really
looks like
fun.
she's having a good time. Yeah, she's so sweet. And then it might have been a little on the nose with Agent C, but we're gonna have her be a personified carrot, which I don't know, it's a little on the nose. And then Celine will be a white cat. And once you guys get the first book, you'll understand why that's a little silly as well. Lee will be a nurse type, doctor type thing. And then I'm sorry, but Arya's going to be a ghost, which is maybe a little on the nosy as well.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's fun.
And then Nisika will be a bunny with kind of the Bulma type bunny, not Playboy type thing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I thought the shark costume was fun for. Oh my gosh, I can't remember now. Starts with the R. What's her name?
Rhea.
Riha. Yeah, I was
Riha.
I thought I was trying to
Riha.
put an N or an M or something in there. And then I don't think we're allowed to see that.
Oh yeah.
Get my t-shirts off there.
Are we allowed to see that?
Oh
You
yeah.
can do the t-shirts. I'm fine with it. I'm happy. I think they look great.
Yeah. So hashtag Ethereal Girls.
Nice.
Sorry, friends. Yeah.
We're going to start doing because the pillows have become something that are harder for us to do just because of international issues at the moment. It's
Who doesn't like the boobs? Come on.
yeah. We're going to do t-shirts for the quarter, like for the seasons. So like that one will be the summertime t-shirts, and then we're going to do the fall t-shirts, then we'll do the winter t-shirts, so on and so forth. And the winter t-shirts will actually be made into like long sleeve tees. You
Okay,
know,
cool.
so those that'll be cool. And then we'll have, limited edition Ethereal Girl hoodies that we're going to put out.
That is cool.
So lots of fun stuff going on. Again, stickers are fun. Everything we've got that we're putting out right now is, a blast, I think.
Well, everything goes in to help make more books because we
That's
are a company that is trying to put out awesome product, and we are continuously working at that, which a lot of companies aren't. So,
well, constantly upgrading the talents, constantly, pushing the envelope on concepts and material, whatever we can, get out there to people is what we're trying to do, and a lot of people come out and they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to put out product. I'm trying to put out as much as I can, That's horseshit. Don't treat people that way. You know what I mean? Put product out that you can be proud to put out. And that's all of us. Like every single one of us beats ourselves up. We all want the best we can put out,
we should. Yeah. Some people
Absolutely.
don't, but yeah.
Absolutely. I take so much pride. Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, it's deserved. I say it a lot, but I mean it. We want to be a product you can be proud to be a fan of or support. We're talking about the movie poster size posters. We're talking about all the stuff that we're working to, get out in a way that's, feasible, and makes sense for the buyer. Sometimes when you put out a poster, shipping is so
Mhm.
astronomical that people can't afford to buy it. You don't want to charge that much for it, but you don't have a choice,
We can't be giving them out. So yeah.
Right. It's,
Exactly. Well,
so at
let's-
the end of the day, as much as we want to do the best we can, it's still, I won't change my prices. That's something that we need to have an understanding of.
We won't increase. Yeah, absolutely.
I've always said that we wanted to make comic books affordable, and that's what we try to do. You know what I mean? And so it's never going to be $50 for an issue. You know what I mean? That's fucking it's bananas. It's bananas.
it's not right.
People are charging it though for
They
20
are.
pages or
That's
less.
crazy.
Less
Well,
than
there's
20
also
pages.
too, there's keeping your actual comics to a reasonable price, which is wonderful, and thank you for that. But also, that doesn't mean though that you can't and shouldn't charge what is an appropriate price for other things like the T-shirts and the
Absolutely.
posters. It has to be,
Posters.
and it has to be fiscally viable for you as a company.
It really does. Well, like it's interesting, right? When you talk about a T-shirt, right, or even a comic book, right? You look at a comic book. We spend between $3,000 and $7,000 in production per issue. That's around about what we spend. That's just art. That's nothing else. That's just the art. So yeah, it's a lot, but we spend because we want you to have good product. You know what I mean? We want the product to be beautiful. We want it to be something. When we put out a cover, we want it, and let's use my Metal Girl cover. When we put out a cover, I want to know that that's on a shop, like shelf at a shop, and it's going to sell.
Yep.
I would buy that cover if it wasn't. I would buy that cover. It's gorgeous.
You want it to catch the eye. You want it to spark interest. You want it
That's
to grab people.
Same thing with
Nobody does that.
you can go into any book we put out, and I would be like, it has to go on a shelf somewhere where people can buy it, but it has to be so good that it can be sold without showing nudity. You know what I mean? The cover A always has to be good enough to be on a shelf in a shop where they can sell it.
That's a big issue today, is that there's so many people that you're competing against for, even independent wise now, to get that first issue in somebody's hand.
We currently have been running in 15 different stores around the world. And I'll say this, a lot of the people that go out there and they try to get into the indie market, they don't have business licenses. They're not actual businesses. Their stuff isn't, oh my gosh. It's mom and pop run organizations that are not going through the channels to make them legitimate businesses. And that's cool. That's okay. We all start somewhere. You know what I mean? We all start somewhere. But I don't ever look at it as competition with us. There's never, to me, I don't look, there are 3 companies that I look at that I put our books against. There's only 3. And for the most of you, I'm sure you can figure them out. But there's only 3. We all use the same artists.
Yep.
We all use the same artists. I'm going to say that 2 of us charge about the same. And we all have our own types of things that make our books interesting. In my opinion, one of us only has longevity. That's all I'm going to say about that. But they're so, I respect everyone in this business, every single person in this business, more than I could ever explain, because it's the hardest thing in the world. It really is. It's like music or like film. You're literally not competing against other people, but you're having to be good enough to warrant people wanting to read your products or see your products.
You got to earn it. Yeah.
That's it. That's like, as a musician, you know what I mean? Look at all these people that come on these America's Got Talents and all this other jazz. You know, that's what it's like. You're literally out here trying to show your stuff, but there's a million other people trying to show their stuff. You know,
Tell me
So
what you got.
right. You've got to be something different. You've got to be something unique. And to me, it's amazing. Like I look at companies that have been doing this forever and I'm like, that's awesome. It's awesome. There are guys, like I said, like 3 that I compare ourselves to. And that's not a knock. That's because of the fact that I respect the hell out of them. Like the hell out of them, you know? And it's something that I wouldn't be where I am without some of these companies. You know, one of those companies has gone above and beyond to support our brand. You know what I mean? So I appreciate them with all my heart. But I'll say this, and I'll say it with all seriousness and respect and all the lovely jam I can slather on it.
Oh, here comes the diss.
Here it comes.
I'm just playing.
I had a really good friend of mine that's been in this industry a really long time. He was like, a lot of people work in comics. There's only a handful of people in this business. You know, I mean, I think that particular sentiment is worth so much more than its weight in gold. You know, and that's why I don't view us in competition with people.
No, and to me, like you're talking about the big 3, and it's the same 3 that I support as well. You know, but it's one of those situations too, is it's timing is some of it, because some of these companies have been around. Now, literally, if we talk about you and we talk about Merc, y'all been around for about the same amount of time, you know, as far as like having books come out, and you guys put out extremely awesome books, which is why we all support, you know, the same people, you know, Coffin, Merc, Counterpoint, and then you guys. That's the 4 that I always go to no matter what. That's my bread and butter. You know, the other ones that's out there, you know, some are fly by night kind of situations, you know, where they put one book out, or like my situation, I've waited almost a year and a half for a set amount of books from a company, which we all know what happened this week. We won't get into that, you know.
For sure.
I'll be nice today. I wasn't
nice. Be nice. Be nice.
I was not,
next week, we're dropping the goods.
I was not nice yesterday.
Next week we'll let you off the chain a little bit. Yep. But you know, I'll say this about this whole conversation though. Don't, just because you want to save a buck, don't go AI, kids.
Correct.
Stuff what anybody says. Yeah. Just because you can save a buck, don't. Look, I was offered a beta test 8 months ago. Okay. I got the beta test. I checked it out for a second and then was like, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It is.
It's horrifying. And not only is it horrifying for artists, but it's horrifying for writers. My daughter walked downstairs today, hand to God, walked down the stairs today, and Heather and I were sitting at the table and we were talking about My Metal Girl and where we're going direction with merch and all kinds of other stuff on My Metal Girl. And my daughter walked down and she was like, Dad, I got an app that'll write a story for me. And I was like, no, dude, we don't do that. And she was like, well, mind you, my daughter's 12 years old. You know what I mean? Well, why not? Well, there are about 1 billion moral reasons why not. First off, it's not great. It's just not great. Don't do it. We'll get into a conversation about it if we need to. But right now, it's just don't do it. It's not worth your time. It doesn't take skill. It doesn't take anything. You know what I mean? And she was like, holy cow. Because my daughter, a lot of you don't know, because I don't share much about my family, because the one time I did, it was real weird. Like there were a lot of real weird folks about my daughter. It was real weird.
That's not right.
It was not right. So now most of you know my Facebook page is open to anybody. So we just anything to do with my family, my wife normally does. So, but anyway, I had shared some photos of my daughter, and it was stupid. So I don't do it anymore. I don't share anything about my family anymore very often. But anyway, so my daughter adores coloring, like adores coloring. Right now, she's in writing classes, but she absolutely adores coloring. And you know, yeah, she's like, I can't wait to get older. I want to work in comics. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm like, cool. Look, yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? But she
3
was
books
literally
is what I
like,
just heard.
oh gosh. But she was literally like, you know, I just thought it was cool because I didn't have to work. It was just something neat. And I was like, well, therein lies the problem. Nothing you do, like that's worth doing is easy, you know. And she was like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even, you know, I hadn't thought about that, or the time, or the, you know, if you're in my house, if you live here in my house, there's days when you won't see me but 15 minutes of a day, you know, because I literally, yeah, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? Or, you know, or my wife has to catcall me to get me to come downstairs, you know. But it's one of those things where we work so hard and we spend so much time. And I know that people are like, oh, it's not physically, you know, that's horseshit.
It's bullshit.
It's oh my gosh, the amount of time that the team members put into these books is absolutely insane. It's insane, you know, and it is a lot of work, you know. And but people, what we get to do is we get to show you these beautiful completed things. You know, you get to see these amazing things, but the time, you know, that April takes, or Bladen takes, or I take, or, you know, Donnie takes, or Dan takes, or whoever, you know what I mean? One of the 60 something people that work with Ethereal, the time that they put into each issue is astronomical, you know? So I was just like, don't do that. We don't cheat. That is like literally cheating. Not to mention it's basically theft. So we're not going to get into any of that. But for those of you that are putting out books, because I know that a lot of folks follow us that are, you know, putting out their own books and stuff, I commend you all day long. Like I said, I think that I appreciate all of you for all the hard work you're doing to put books out for your readers, because that's an amazing thing.
Keep it up.
Oh my God. You deserve to be commended for working on your goals, your dreams, you know, bust out, you know, do your thing, but stay away from the AI artwork. Correct. Stay far away from the AI artwork. Don't play with it. Don't promote it. It's going to put a stain on everything you're doing. Just stay away from it. Even it's so bad right now that even Japan is fighting against it. And Japan is like, they don't have anywhere near the copyright rules that we do. No. You know what I mean? Look at China. China doesn't like it either. And China has no copyright laws. Like none.
That is saying something right there.
Yeah, they have like none.
It was sad because I was reading Shonen Jump, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and they were actually talking a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You know, like how bad it was in manga today. Like this copy, paste, and then add color. And that was it. And they were actually selling the manga like that. And people got it and they were like, what is this crap that you gave me?
Because
they know.
Did you know Ethereal has a mangaka? Pretty cool.
It is. And I just did a review on it.
Yes. Aha. I'll talk to you about all that fun stuff. I am, again, look at that cool piece. Look at that nonsense. You like got into that, bro. Like you went from like super fun.
So yeah, you gotta change the subject.
Oh, change the subject. Go. Anyway, yeah, be nice, behave. And
I'm being nice. I feel bad for artists in general because it's taking money away from them that they could be using for another project or feeding their family per se.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes, sir.
It's like, and that's, to me, that's why I have such respect for artists and writers and colorists and letterers, because you guys do the work.
Absolutely.
You deserve the money for it, not some computer thing. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's not real art to me. It's never going to be real art. Now, there's digital art that's done by phenomenal people, but it's
yeah,
actually drawn in digital
yes.
works. That's
That it's
different.
not to be confused.
Correct.
You know,
And I've seen
just
so
because
many
you're
people.
working with a Wacom does not mean you're using AI.
Person actually created that.
Correct.
That's exactly right.
Or even like I see some people, they'll do their first sketches, and then they'll take
Yes.
they'll scan them in, and then they'll actually finish the work on digital. There's
Yeah, I
nothing
have
wrong
an
with it.
XP pen. I can draw right on there. And I actually,
Yes.
a couple of my books I did completely digital, but I missed the traditional stuff so much. I went back, but that's a viable way to do it. I mean, that's
Correct.
a professional way to go about it. And we do have some artists who are completely digital, but they still have those fundamental skills and they have the abilities, and we hired them because of that, and they deliver really awesome product.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Same way with the
Absolutely.
coloring. Like I've seen a lot of digital coloring, and it
Yeah,
looks
the
just
majority is going to be. Go ahead.
and that's the thing is that we don't have the time for 8,000 hours to color with paint,
Mhm.
for a lot of time.
Right.
Because you guys have a lot of color, a lot of books, a lot of pages coming out. So I mean, you don't have 50,000 colorists either. You
No.
have a set amount of people that can do a certain amount of things. So digitally makes sense for coloring. I've seen,
Mhm.
and it works just as good. I'm just going to say it, unless it's painted watercolors, that's going to be a little different. That's always
It's
been
harder to sell
correct.
painted and watercolor nowadays than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And that's strictly because as much as we love it, right? As much as we love the traditional, bless you, as much as we love the traditional direction, you're going to find that most modern collectors or modern readers want the crispness of a digital color versus a hand painted cover. Like, look, we had Jonathan McDaniel, love Jonathan, super nice guy, right? Super nice guy. He
Awesome
painted
work. Everything you did.
right,
Amazing work.
amazing stuff, but no one bought his covers. I mean, as good as the artwork was, no one bought his covers, and
I
it
got
wasn't
one.
one. Well, I mean,
No, I know. I know
relatively
what you're
speaking,
saying. It is.
you know,
It is
It wasn't a huge
relatively
narrow,
thing,
very
which
small
sucks.
market for what it is. Yeah, it's
relatively toward against a digital artist. And I'm just using Jonathan for an example. We've had more than just Jonathan.
a little bit.
You know what I mean? Same thing with Gabby. You know what I mean? Love
Mhm.
Gabby's stuff, but it's always one of those things where people are. It's a lot like black and white
Yeah.
comic books. If you have a market or a fan base for it and you've built that, that's what people are going to buy. You look at Devin. Devin Massey has been doing black and white forever. Has never done
Mhm.
a full length color comic book until Theater 7, right? So he
Yep.
put out Theater 7. It did really, really well. I put out Theater 7 again in black and white, thinking that's what his fan base wanted with like a whitewash. And I couldn't move it to save my life, and that's just, again, I've answered this question a few times when people ask. It's all about your market and the fan base that you have, what they enjoy, what they like. You've got people that'll buy the original art. You got guys like Nate, they want or Shawnee as well. You got guys and gals that like their original art, but then you've got the guys and gals that'll be like, I want a print. I don't need the original art. I would like a print. And a
Put
print's
stuff on the
great.
wall. That's fine.
That's it. They look great. Whereas if someone puts a thumbtack and a piece of original art on the wall, I may just die because I've seen it.
I
And
would
it
cry.
hurt
I
my
would.
heart so bad. Like, it hurt my heart. But when you put books together, you have to look at your market and what your fans enjoy.
To match the art with
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Actually, you have to
As much as we love doing the mature cover, well, not even mature, it's artistic nudity on our covers. I like to always give you the cover A that you can display. Always. I love you to have the cover A that you can put out.
Just like it's going to be on the shelf. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when it comes, but again, I'm not ignorant to the fact that our fan base is like, hey, how many nudes you got on this book? You know what I mean? I get it. I'm about it. I understand. You know what I mean? So, like, we'll put out enough covers to generally weigh out both sides of the perspective, what you'd prefer to have. And, most of the time we do wild versions of each cover, oh, my messages are blowing up. Anyway,
if I cause any issues, but
it's not your fault. No, but it's like that. It's like, when I owned a shop, we couldn't even put out like, oh my gosh, like I would buy broadsword books and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you couldn't put them on the wall. Couldn't put them on the wall. Or you'd buy your,
They're beautiful and they're gorgeous and they're amazing and you can't show them off in public very often.
I couldn't
Only
sell
with the
them
right
to save my life. You know what I mean? But the pull customers would get them. They'd have their pull books and whatnot. And I think that's something that's really cool about using Kickstarter as a medium.
Yeah.
You can go in and get whatever you want. No one's, giving you side eye for getting this or that. And I love that. I think that's super fun. Everybody's going to love being able to do that when it comes to the red label.
Side eye.
I get side eye a lot from every direction I look half the time, but that's okay. I'm one of those people that if it's not for you, it's not for you. You know what I mean? But what's not for you may be perfect for your buddy, and you just don't even realize it. So we'll always put out the same amount of covers or more, give or take one or two. And, we're going to keep the prices the same. We're going to keep the content the same, regardless of any judging from people that, don't like nudity in books and stuff like that. It's never going to be a thing that concerns us, bothers us. So I don't ever want anybody to have to worry about like anything like that. If anything, we're actually going to start pushing the envelope quite a bit. So it's whatever. Yeah. Everybody wants to go play in the red label. So we're going to start seeing a little bit more red label stuff.
Red label's on fire.
Oh my gosh. It's something.
After reading Rain, man, I was hooked.
Yeah. Red label it's got some books, man. So we're definitely going to be putting out a few more titles over there. I think Mr. Hunter's book may be one of the first ones, full-length series we start fleshing out. We'll see.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we'll see. But we've got a lot going
says
on.
With an evil grin.
Yeah. I just, again, it's all about bringing out the products that make people happy. They enjoy reading. They enjoy seeing. The art makes people smile, whether it's somebody getting torn up or somebody, tearing their clothes off, people get to smile, and I enjoy that. So,
and it's both.
Yeah, man, it's a win. It's always a win. Like when we can give you art like this, and you enjoy it, and you soak it in, and then we can also give you. Well, I can't show you much, but then we can give you art like this, and Steph Wilson's stuff is just adorable. Like it's adorable, But there's always that more that we want to give, that always that little bit more. So we're pushing the envelope in a few different directions, because none of us knows how to give you half-ass. None of us knows. So we live that full apple bottom, is it apple bottom jeans and whatnot. We're all about that full. You guys wait till you get the calendar. Oh my gosh, calendar!
Dude, I cannot wait for that one.
The calendar is going to be stupid fun. I have to behave myself, but it's going to be.
Why stop now?
Oh my gosh!
Exactly.
No, I am, really, really excited about the calendar. I'm really excited about all the work everybody's doing. And like I said, not long after what you've got going on tonight. Again, we've only got 2 weeks. We got one more week on My Metal Girl from tonight. and then we're jumping into Cretaceous. So, and I've seen like 4 or 5 pages colored already.
Dude, the covers are.
Oh God!
Oh yeah.
Oh God! Those covers are ridiculous. And you know, it's funny.
I finally did a good one. I finally did a good cover.
A good one. Finally?
I cannot believe you finally did a good cover too. All your covers are amazing.
Well, it's really interesting because I had a list. I sent April a list of my like top 5.
He's just going around Instagram finding the people with like hundreds of thousands of viewers and followers. He's like,
I
hey,
didn't
this
do
was
that.
pretty good. And we're like, oh my freaking geez. Okay, yeah, well, I guess we'll reach out. We'll see what happens.
Just about everybody on my list came on.
One, yeah.
So
Little Mister gets what he wants.
All
yeah,
right.
hey,
Turns out when you have a legitimate company,
Busy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
when you have a legitimate company, people want to work. That's part of it.
That's
You
awesome.
know, I'm surprised, right? When you have a legitimate company, who would want to work? Goodness.
Yeah, I like getting paid. That's what that's why you work, right?
Yeah, that's
I like money.
Exactly.
exactly.
It pays my addictions.
There you go.
Yeah, right. I am again just absolutely over the moon with the response to all the different products, all the different stories. I will be sending Nate and Shawnee more stories to read in the next day, because there's a ton of stuff coming out. But anyway, thank you guys so much, for supporting the books, pushing the products. We're already well on our way to a great campaign.
My
Can we get an update on that?
You what now?
Can we get an update?
We're
Is
at
Sonia looking at it?
$1,271 right now.
Already.
Oh,
Yep.
So it is looking really, really good.
My metal girl's at
Wait for it,
13,119 right now. So
What is that?
awesome.
backers.
What did you say that my metal girl was at, Shawnee?
13,119.
Nice.
With
Beautiful.
279 backers.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Beautiful people.
Absolutely
Every
amazing.
last one of them.
And we're very, very grateful to
At
each
least
and
one.
every individual. But anyway, we're gonna head off here tonight. I have a bunch of shenanigans to handle myself. And, but we
You
just
got more
want to
stuff to
thank
pack,
you guys.
don't you?
Oh my goodness. We just want to thank you guys for, hanging out with us, checking out the products, and supporting them. Oh my gosh, supporting them.
It only helps us make
I
more.
got my pick 3. Got my pick 3 team.
Ooh.
And I'm so hyped. I'm so grateful, and I can't wait for you guys. You know what? Let me do this. I'm gonna get in trouble, but hold on.
Do it. Do it.
Who's not here?
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Sheriff's not
PM's
here.
not here.
HR will get me.
Yeah, well, it won't be. It's not the first, and it won't be the last. So
Probably that's a fact. That is probably a fact. But I will show you guys a upcoming cover for something. Hold on. I will show you. I'm trying not to get in trouble, not just from HR, but from
right.
Twitch at the same time.
Yeah, that's a
So
tough Yep.
I'll show you guys a cool cover for Halloween. And it'll probably get
Albert,
me.
what do you got? Because I haven't seen much.
I'm not
Might
showing
not be
the
approved.
LP ones.
Is it approved by the art director? What do you got?
It was approved by the art director.
I don't even know half the stuff that comes across my desk. I'm like,
I
okay,
think it
cool.
was. I liked it. I approved it.
That doesn't matter, Dustin.
That's generally speaking, that doesn't matter.
Since when does that matter?
I thought it
Oh
was
yeah,
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh yeah.
My,
pretty awesome.
that's really cool.
That's multiple layers of awesome.
Yeah, I'm real happy with that. So, yeah.
I love that
I
blood
just appreciate
shading
that.
on it.
This was
Oh my
approved,
God.
everybody. Just so you know.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, you know what? I'm human too. Like I approved a page today, and then Dustin's like, "Hey, by the way, this detail is a little different. In a couple panels." I'm like, Oh, hey, how about that?
Yeah.
So, hey.
That was funny though, because in all honesty, that's funny because situations like that are like, it's not written in the script. So
No,
I
I'm like, storytelling's good, characters look good, whole page looks good, but there's a little detail about the characters. So, you know.
Right. Like I give the artist artistic freedom. I do most of the time because unless it's something that I directly want to see. Like I give you the idea for the panels, what we want to see on a page, but unless it's a serious detail that I am like adamant about, I tend to let the artists do their thing. But I'm gonna say what it was because it was funny. It was a character that had glasses on, and it wasn't written into the script. So I didn't care that the character had glasses. You know what I mean? It wasn't a big deal to me. And but 3 panels down, the character didn't have glasses. And
Was the mystery of the disappearing glasses?
yeah, I was like, hey, wait a
I
minute.
thought it was a cool plot element. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
Magical glasses.
Right? Yeah. This could be a whole new story arc.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with you on that. Good grief.
No, the storytelling was good. The characters looked great. Everything, like the camera angles, it was really good. Followed the script, but I just wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah,
He was all like, hey, by the way,
I'm a fan of I'm a real big fan of what is that guy? The hamburger dude?
Ronald McDonald.
No.
Hamburger?
I'd gladly pay you Wednesday.
Popeye.
Wimpy.
Wimpy.
Yep.
So that guy, that character design looks a lot like Wimpy to me.
Like who?
Like that dude.
Like me?
Wimpy
from the hamburger guy.
I do look like Wimpy from Popeye. Yeah.
No, you don't. Shut up. The dude, the fucking.
Nobody knows. Don't worry. I shaved today for this podcast. The dude in that page looks like Wimpy from Popeye. Yeah.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. Like his cartooning is next level.
My style is so fun. I'm so jealous.
It's next level stuff.
Yeah.
So, but the elderly lady, she got all kinds of scary looking when she got in that car. Like she was mad nice when she got in the car. She got in the car
to the head. Yeah.
Right. I was like, no, we need to get in there and nice lady. She doesn't need to look like a serial killer when we got in the car.
That's what I wanted. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, if that's the look you were going for, we nailed it. Like we nailed it.
Killed it.
Like I was scared for him when he got in the car. I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen on the next page?
Some never living craziness.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a fan of the page turn, and Scary Lady had me ready to turn the page. You know? I needed to know. I needed to know. But anyway, again, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. You know, it's always a fun time on Friday night. You know, getting to show you guys the new books, doing the pre-orders with you is always so much fun. We're always so grateful, so grateful to get to spend the time with you guys. And this is like, I try to keep everybody up to date on the Facebook page, on the Instagram, now on the whatever that other thing is that I'm on.
What? Or the other one, the new one.
The new one.
No, don't worry about it. It'll probably be gone in 3 weeks. Don't worry about it.
I'm about it. I'm like, it's real easy for me to use. I just, hey, look.
Is it Threads, Instagram, Meta Threads or something?
Thread, yeah.
Hey, follow some Threads, everybody. It's
follow some Threads.
More power to you.
It's the same information you're getting on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else from us. So it really doesn't.
For me, if it's
one,
I don't need any other things I have to go.
You know, that's one reason that we're working on this mailing system, so you guys can get email updates once a week. You're not going to get blasted with emails. It'll be once a week. And it'll have new artwork. It'll have new updates on campaigns. It'll have new updates on all kinds of stuff. Because I am trying to make this a smooth operation. And if I can, man, look, I need that song playing in the back. Smooth operator. You know, I just gotta, we gotta get it going, you know, and I'm doing my best.
We need an opener song for our cast here.
Well, yeah. Didn't we just talk about some stuff? I'm working on some things.
We didn't. Go away.
Yes, we did. I'm working on some things.
Well, you did announce on Facebook about that, you know, all the things that's coming for 2024.
That's right. I'm working on
read
things.
those.
He doesn't share that with me, though, so I don't know what's going on.
He put it on the ethereal page. It's right off of his actual profile.
No, you know what? I tell him before I do anything. Whether he remembers it or not, I tell him before I do anything. But I reached out to a friend of ours almost a year ago for a BGD theme song, like a year ago. And
sorry everyone, I lied. I'm sorry.
See, he remembers now. So because I was sitting and I was going through some old stuff, some old stories and stuff like that, and a bunch of other crap, and I was watching I'm a big fan of the dinosaur TV show.
Like, NECA's coming out with them. Did you see that?
They are coming out. I'm very excited.
I already ordered those.
Don't mess with me because I'll get into a whole different conversation. But I am nobody got time for that. But I was watching it, and then I remembered that song, "Walk the Dinosaur."
1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a friend of mine who works in the music industry, and I was trying to find out who has the license for that song. And it's like fallen off the map, to be honest with you, since Disney used it in Ice Age. It is literally just like up and fallen off the map. So I was talking to another artist friend of ours about doing a theme song for Babes Corn Dinosaurs. And so that's already started. That has already begun to happen. But, you know, and about a year ago, I told you guys live, I wanted to do a pilot for a BGD cartoon. And that's what I was talking to Mr. Hunter about. I have put a lot of time into preparing all this, and now we're at a stage where it's something to actually talk about, and it's not just something I've been, you know. So we'll see. It costs a lot of money to do.
Yeah, I sure do. For anything good. You can get real cheap animation for real cheap price for no quality.
No one wants that though. We don't know how to do half-ass. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
But it's funny, you know.
Is that what you pay for?
It is. You get exactly what you pay for. You know, it's funny because you look at things and you're like, oh man, it's going to be $25,000 for a 10-minute promo. You know, but at the same time, when you look at what we spend to produce a comic book every month, it no longer seems like something that's out of the scope of reality. You know, like I was like, oh man, last year somebody was like, oh, you won't get statues done because statues are ridiculous. They're too expensive.
Turns out.
But we have statues. You know, or pillows are too expensive, or this artist is this. You'll never get here. You'll never get there.
Yeah, I might have said that as well.
And anytime somebody tells Dustin something's too expensive, he can't do it, all I can think of, hold my beer.
I get real, like, it's almost a challenge at that point. Because it's one of those things where at 22 years old, I worked for the government and managed 130, 140 people. You know what I mean? It's if it's feasible, I'm gonna do it. If it's within my skill set. Now, let's be fair. If it's within my skill set, I'm gonna make it happen. So when it comes to artwork and stuff like that, I'm pretty, until I broke my hand, like the third time, I was doing all my own artwork. You know, so Now I'm just like, well, this is where we want to be at. This is where we want to get. How do we get there? Short goals to long goals. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if it's a project versus, you're talking about music, if you're going, well, I want to get a song done by a full band, it costs money, So then you go, okay, well, how much money does it cost? Where can I allocate funds? How long will it take me to get there? We can have management classes 101 all day, what it takes to get where you want to go. I should probably do that as a side job. Anyway, so
Udemy or something.
yeah, I could be e-management courses. But when you start pushing and you want something bad enough, you figure out the route to do it. You're not always looking for the fastest route, you're looking for the most complete route. So I'm going, okay, look, I loved Spawn as a kid. Like I loved the show so much.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I loved every bit of it. My parents would go to bed, I'd be out in the living room trying to watch it on HBO. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's one of those things where the art amazed me. It amazed me. I absolutely loved every bit of it. And that's the kind of show that I want to give for BGD. That's the kind of artwork I would love to see. This dark, gritty artwork. Now, everybody's like, oh, you can't do comics. Comics are hard. Everybody works, nobody makes it. Cool, look, we're there. We're playing that game. Okay. So the next person that tells me I can't put out a TV show, promise it may not happen now. It may not happen a year from now. It may be 3 or 4 years from now. But promise I'm working on something. So anyway, right now with the writer's strike going on, I'm over here going, oh, well, Mr. Hunter, when we get 5 seconds to breathe, let's sit and start planning our next endeavor, And it's funny that I think that's something that people do to themselves. They like when I mentioned to my dad I was gonna, start pushing in other directions for the brand. I'm gonna do action figures, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and whatever. It's always like those are really impossible dreams, but do it. Who's gonna stop you from doing it? No one's gonna stop you but you. The first part of being successful is realizing that you can be successful.
Big bridges goals.
That's it, man. Just have realistic goals. Don't kill yourself, but know that it's possible that you can achieve your goals. If you half-ass, you won't get anywhere. If you go home early, you won't get anywhere.
Hashtag only whole ass.
Only whole ass, man. Only whole ass. And it's something that I can say that I'm proud of every member of Ethereal for giving it all they've got all the time. All the time. I don't ever have to go, I'm going to say this, even if a cover doesn't sell, I'm still proud of the cover. I'm still proud of it.
Well, yeah, we chose the artist. We love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a win. It's such a win. Especially when
maybe another time to be able to find something again matching the art to
absolutely
the fans.
Anything I could write comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally terrified to write comedy, and everybody loves Theater 7, and I was like scared to put a dick joke in a comic book. I was like, well, I don't know about all this, And I remember Devin going, "Go all the way, locker room, go all the way." And I was like, man, but a large portion of Ethereal's buyers are chicks. And he was like, they like it too. Go all the way. And I was like, oh my God.
I want you to go up to that line and then take a big step over it.
Step over the line. Everybody's going to have a good time. And I was like, okay, here we go. So, and that's another one of those things. Everybody in this company gives me confidence. They all give me confidence to go above and beyond. It's something that is something that, again, I'm proud of everything they put out. I'm proud of how they interact with y'all. I'm proud of how they interact with fans, every single one of them. And it's funny that a lot of people don't think that we hear about things, but we do. We hear about how people are treated and how they're acted toward, if it's a fan that is of ours and they spend X amount of dollars on every book we put out, and then they go to your booth and you know that they do, and then you hook them up, we hear about it. You know, we hear about the people that want to charge $20 a signature. We hear about it. You know what I mean? It's those things. It's those little teeny nuances of putting together a company. It's those little things that people pay attention to. And it's those little things that we take pride in. So again, shouldn't have to do anything crazy to get respect. You never should. And our fans, we look at them with respect.
Yeah,
We
that's like
appreciate
some closing inspirational stuff right there, bud.
That's it. Much love. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to step off my little podium and let you guys have a good evening, and we'll holler at you shortly.
Have a good night, everyone.